On a freezing January night, the temperature dropped to 3 degrees and the streets were empty. At a corner, 4 cats huddled on a subway grate, the only warm spot for blocks. One had infected eyes, another barely moved, as steam rose around them in the bitter urban winter. Mariana was walking home from work when she noticed the cats. She'd passed strays before, but this time she paused. The way they pressed together, desperate for heat, gave her an unshakable pang. She stood watching for minutes in the cold, then continued home, but sleep never came. The next morning, she passed again. The cats remained, now 5. Someone had left a cardboard box beside the grate, another a plate with food scraps. The sight of these small gestures changed something in her. Mariana realized she wasn't alone. Others wanted to help too, but no one knew how. Mariana walked home through the empty streets, the street lights casting long shadows. The image of those cats, shivering on the grate, replayed in her mind. The cold seemed to follow her inside. She pulled her coat tighter, but the chill she felt came from somewhere deeper. That night, sleep refused to come. She tossed and turned, the weight of the cat's small bodies pressing on her chest. The silence of the apartment amplified her helplessness. She stared at the ceiling, imagining their small bodies trembling in the dark. Before dawn, she pulled on her shoes and went back to the street. Under the same streetlight, the cats were still there, curled into tight balls. This time, she didn't just look. She made a silent promise to find a real solution. Their quiet suffering lit a fierce determination in her heart. The next morning, Mariana began her quiet watch. She counted stray cats, the orange tom with its limp, the 2 siblings inseparable by the grate. She noticed how they huddled against the subway vent, desperate for warmth. Something had to change. Near the vent, a fresh cardboard box appeared. Beside it, a bowl of food sat untouched. Someone else had seen their suffering. This anonymous gesture whispered that she wasn't alone in her concern. The neighborhood, it seemed, was full of quiet caretakers. A flicker of hope stirred in her chest. If strangers could leave comfort for cats in the night, maybe they could do more together. These small acts were like signposts, pointing toward a community ready to be called into action. Mariana began watching more closely. She found a mother cat with 3 tiny kittens huddled beneath an abandoned car. The mother's eyes held a fierce protectiveness as she shielded them from the biting January wind. It was a fragile sanctuary, barely warmer than the street. An old orange cat limped alone, his matted fur and infected eyes a testament to years on the streets. He appeared each evening near the bakery, moving slowly, a solitary figure in the biting cold. Mariana noticed he never interacted with the other cats. 2 inseparable siblings slept curled inside a drain pipe, its cold metal offering little comfort. Their shared breath was their only warmth. Night after night, Mariana watched them huddled in that dark, cramped space. They never left each other's side, even in the deepest cold. Mariana suddenly recalled a fact she had read years ago. Below a certain depth, the Earth's temperature stays constant at around 15 degrees. In the bitter cold of winter, that steady underground warmth could mean the difference between life and death for the stray cats. The idea hit her like a lightning bolt, a subterranean shelter insulated to trap the Earth's natural heat. It would be a cozy refuge, using simple materials to keep the cats warm through the freezing nights. She hurried to Don Ernesto, the retired neighbor who spent mornings on his porch. As she explained her vision, he listened silently. Then, with a knowing nod, He said, "I have shovels," and the first seed of community action was planted. Don Ernesto stood on his doorstep as neighbors gathered. Word had spread after his talk with Mariana. In less than a week, 7 people arrived, carrying shovels, pickaxes, and rolls of insulation. They barely knew each other, but they all knew why they were there. Don Ernesto cleared his throat. "I never thought I'd see this many hands," he said. His son, who worked at a hardware store, had gotten the insulation at cost. Carmen, the baker, offered her unused basement as a staging point. They were ready to start. Mariana watched the group, feeling a quiet shift. These weren't just neighbors anymore, they were a team. With a nod from Don Ernesto, they picked up their tools and headed to the chosen spot, the small patch of earth behind the bakery where the cats often huddled. That afternoon, 7 neighbors gathered in the small basement Carmen had offered. The architecture student spread his final blueprint on an old crate. He explained the sloped entrance and insulation layers, his finger tracing each line. Everyone listened intently, asking questions about the depth and ventilation. A sense of purpose filled the chilly space. Just then, Don Ernesto's son arrived, struggling with a heavy cart of insulation panels and borrowed tools from the hardware store. He'd secured everything at cost, his face bright with pride. The group rushed to help unload, their laughter echoing in the narrow alley. For the first time, they truly believed they could build something lasting. Mariana watched as they all gathered around the basement entrance. Carmen handed out old work gloves while Don Ernesto tested the shovel's edges. They divided tasks quietly, according to each person's strength. Without fanfare, the team moved to the digging site, ready to transform the frozen ground into a warm refuge. El primer sábado, Mariana y los vecinos comenzaron a cavar la entrada. Don Ernesto y su hijo manejaban las palas, mientras el estudiante de arquitectura indicaba la inclinación precisa del túnel para que los gatos pudieran bajar sin miedo. El trabajo era duro, pero cada palada acercaba el refugio. La segunda semana cavaron la cámara térmica, el corazón del refugio. Aplicaron el material aislante siguiendo el principio del iglú, con una cámara intermedia que repelía el frío. El equipo trabajó unido, capa por capa, mientras el refugio cobraba vida bajo tierra. Para el tercer fin de semana, el refugio estaba terminado. Instalaron la ventilación y camuflaron la entrada con tierra y hojas secas. Todos guardaron silencio, contemplando la pequeña abertura que ahora era un santuario térmico. El esfuerzo colectivo había transformado una idea en un refugio real. A las 3 de la mañana, Mariana caminó hasta el refugio con una linterna. La noche era fría, pero su corazón latía con fuerza. Se inclinó hacia la entrada y encendió la luz, esperando que el esfuerzo hubiera valido la pena. Había pasado días construyendo y ahora solo deseaba ver una señal de vida. La luz reveló al viejo gato, naranja dormido en un rincón. Su respiración era lenta y tranquila por primera vez en años. Más adentro, la gata y sus crías formaban un ovillo tibio sobre la tierra aislante. Ninguno se inmutó con la linterna. Estaban profundamente dormidos. Mariana sintió un alivio inmenso. Una sonrisa silenciosa le cruzó el rostro. Apagó la linterna y se quedó ahí, escuchando el suave ronroneo. La quietud de la noche envolvía el refugio, y por fin Ella pudo respirar tranquila. Era la primera noche cálida para esos gatos. A la mañana siguiente, Mariana regresó y vio un cuenco con agua fresca colocado cuidadosamente. Una pequeña nota manuscrita decía: «Gracias». El barrio comenzaba a responder, uniendo fuerzas silenciosamente por los gatos. La solidaridad germinaba en ese rincón olvidado. Don Ernesto colocó una silla cerca de la entrada y se quedaba horas observando. La panadera Carmen llevaba sobras sin que nadie se lo pidiera. El cuidado colectivo se volvió rutina, y los felinos dejaron de pasar hambre y frío. Cada gesto, por pequeño, construía un refugio más grande. A los 3 meses, una protectora de animales se interesó en el diseño. El estudiante compartió los planos en Internet. Mensajes de otras ciudades llegaron pidiendo instrucciones. Mariana reflexionó. Aquel refugio subterráneo salvó más que gatos. Despertó conciencias. Ahora, cualquier persona con una pala podía construir esperanza.